Hi, everybody. Another Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's time for our live. And you've had a lot of interest about soul contracts, and I don't blame you. Soul contracts are a very, very interesting topic. So we're going to dive today into that. All right. So, what are really soul contracts? A soul contract is a spiritual agreement made by the soul before incarnating into the physical world. These contracts serve as a blueprint for one's journey through life, shaping experiences, relationships, and challenges before we are born into the physical world. We design a life path with the intent of learning, growth, and evolution. The essence of a soul contract lies in the belief that each soul creates and chooses specific lessons and encounters with other souls to fulfill its spiritual purpose. These agreements may involve relationships with family members, friends, romantic partners, or even individuals who bring challenges or hardships into our lives. They are designed to guide souls um, toward enlightenment, teaching them forgiveness, patience, love, empathy, and other virtues essentials for spiritual growth. Now, there's a side note, okay? Some spiritual teachers believe that the main purpose of incarnation is for us to learn. I don't adhere to this theory. And this is not just my opinion, this is the conclusion that I have achieved after many, many years of study, different school of thought, and conversations with spirits, because I'm a medium with spirits from other realms, plus my own guides, including Archangel Michael, which you know that I work with him very, very closely. So I know many of you believe that being a human being is not the highest state to be at. And although I agree with you at a certain level, the truth is that there is quite a long waiting list to come to Earth as a human being. And this is because there are more souls than bodies available. So, why are spirits so eager to come and have a human experience? Well, that's because we are capable of so many feelings, and the experiences that we can have as human beings are endless. We can also feel not only with our soul and our mind, but with our bodies. And that is one thing spirit cannot do because they don't have bodies. Okay. So, with that being said, we're not just going to come down here and hang out, right? So, we plan for things to do, people to meet, and lessons to learn. The main reason that we're here is not to learn, is to be. That's why we're human beings, okay? We're not human doers, we're human beings. The main reason for us to be here is to be, is to exist, is to have the experiences, not to do, not to learn. We do that along the way because what are we going to do? Right? But yeah, the main reason for us to be here is to have the human experience that spirit can have because they're not human and they don't have bodies. All right. That's my side note. Now, each contract varies in complexity as it depends on the unique needs of the soul. Okay. Some may be geared towards resolving past karma, while others may focus on developing specific qualities or healing wounds from previous lives. Soul contracts are not limited to current incarnation, but extend across multiple lifetimes, often entangling us in recurring patterns or bonds with other souls to continue or finish or complete unfinished business. And why does this happen? Well, because we travel in cliques, right? We travel in what we call a soul family. It's a group of souls that we travel together with. I most likely have, actually, I know I have lived with my husband, my parents, my children before. I know because I've had, past life regressions and I've seen them. It's just that in every incarnation, we have different purposes. So the characters will change roles. All right. So, what is the purpose and uses of a soul contract? The primary purpose of a soul contract is growth. Okay. Both personal and for the collective of our clique, of our soul group, and the general collective, okay, of all humans and the earth. They help shape the spiritual evolution of an individual and contribute to the broader soul group, which consists of souls that reincarnate together to support each other in their journeys, like we talked before. Now, this web of interconnectedness forms the foundation of spiritual existence, where every soul plays a role in the ascension of others. So some of the things that we want to achieve together are learning and evolution, karma resolution, emotional healing, and spiritual expansion. Now, a question that I get very often is, can soul contracts be broken? The idea of whether soul contracts can be broken is a topic of spiritual debate. Some believe that because the contracts are agreements made by the soul for our highest good, they cannot be truly broken, but can be negotiated or released once the lessons are learned. Others maintain that because of the free will human possesses, a contract can be consciously severed if it's no longer serving the individual's growth. The problem that many of the people I personally have worked with encounter is sometimes we hold on so strongly to our contracts that we bring them with us to another incarnation where they are truly a disservice to us. I'll give you an example. I was part of a psychic fair several years ago, and I was one of the psychics, and a woman came to me for a mediumship reading. This was some years ago, and she had some questions about her sister. Now, I usually don't give people reading about people that are not there, but I usually ask them to explain, because sometimes it's okay. And in this case was very okay. And I'm so glad that I asked her, because it was a very good experience for her and for me. So the woman that was in front of me, my sitter, and her sister's doctors were very concerned that she had the most strict vegan diet, to the point that she was starving herself to death because she refused to eat so many things, and she was lacking a lot of nutrients that she needed. Now, let me tell you, we are vegetarians, and me and my family had almost like a 95% vegan diet. Not right now, but for like 6 years, some years ago. And you can definitely, absolutely, hands down, know no doubt. You can have all the nutrients that you need with a vegan diet. Anyhow, the other concern that this woman had, that it was that although her sister was a wonderful and kind person, and she dated seemingly very nice gentlemen, her relationships never developed as she expected. She never married, she never had children. So she had these relationships, and somehow they always ended, even though both parties were really nice people. And this happened over and over again. And this woman was, I want to say, in her 70s, and her sister was too. So as it turned out, her sister, when I did the reading, and I asked permission to her sister's higher self to go and see in her, and do a reading for her and see in her past life, I realized, I learned that her sister was a very strict nun in a previous lifetime, one that had vowed to live in the absolute minimum, with the absolute minimum. And of course, she did not have any relationship with any man, right? So you see, her sister brought with her vows of poverty and chastity with her into her current lifetime. And those were clearly hurting her. All right. So how can we identify the different soul contracts in this incarnation from previous incarnations? Knowing which soul contracts are still active in your current life, or understanding those from previous lives, can be a complex process, but there are several methods to bring these contracts to light. One of them that you can do on your own is to see patterns in relationships. Like that woman, she met wonderful people, but never come to fruition. Recurring themes or experiences in life, okay? You can also do a past life regression, that will give you some clues. You can have an Akashic Records reading, for example, that will tell you exactly what are the lessons to be learned. And you can ask help for somebody like me, right? And have an intuitive psychic guidance. Or on your own, you can do meditation and self-reflection, and you can get some answers that way. Now, is it possible to renegotiate? And how can we do that? Renegotiate a soul contract. Renegotiating a soul contract is a spiritual process where an individual seeks to modify or change the terms of a pre-incarnational agreement in order to align better with their current needs, growth, or circumstances. Since these contracts are made by the soul for its highest good before entering the physical realm, negotiation often involves deep spiritual work and communication with one's higher self or spiritual guides. But here's a breakdown of how to renegotiate a soul contract. You have to have incredible awareness, and that only comes with self-reflection, okay? You got to do the work. Also, connecting with your higher self or your spiritual guides or both. Acknowledging and integrating the lessons learned. And trust and surrender to the process, all right? So renegotiating a soul contract is ultimately a process of trust and surrender. Once you're asked for the change and work through the steps, it's essential to release control and trust that the universe or your higher self is working in your favor. Renegotiation might not happen overnight, and the changes may unfold gradually as you continue your spiritual journey. Can these contracts be rewritten? Yes, absolutely. Soul contracts can be rewritten, though the process of doing so is intricate and requires conscious effort, spiritual awareness, and a deep understanding of the lessons intended in the original contract. So none of this is easy. We have to do the work, right? Rewriting a soul contract typically involves modifying the terms of the agreement to better align with your current spiritual needs, growth, and circumstances. While some spiritual traditions emphasize that these contracts are predetermined and meant to be fulfilled as written, many believe that because of the free will and the dynamic nature of the soul's evolution, they can be revised to serve a more aligned and fulfilling path. All right. So here's a detailed exploration of how soul contracts can be rewritten, including the conditions under which it may be possible and how to approach the process. The original lessons have to be learned, period. The contract is no longer serving your growth. If you find, like that woman, that the contract is no longer serving her growth, they can be rewritten, but the original lesson had to be learned. So this was hurting her, but I don't know. I don't think I went that deep then. I mean, it was a fair, she had a time frame of 20 minutes, if I remember correctly, that she could be with me. And that was a conversation I needed to be held with her sister, not with her. The original lesson of poverty and chastity needed to be learned. Now, there's a side note to this too, because sometimes we make soul contracts here due to trauma. So we could speak and swore that we will never do whatever again because this happened, and that becomes an incredible strong soul contract. Okay, that probably was written before, and then we just got to that conclusion, and then we said it again, and we can carry that. All right, so the original lesson has to be learned. Okay, for the contract to be severed or changed or renegotiated if it's no longer serving your growth in this lifetime, and you have ascended beyond the contract's original scope, which is really hard to see. You really have to do a lot of work and have good communication with your higher self and your spirit guides to get really clear into this. So in conclusion, soul contracts may play a very significant role in shaping our lives, guiding our growth, and facilitating the resolution of karmic debts. While they're powerful tools for spiritual evolution, they are not immutable. With conscious awareness, one can identify, fulfill, or release these contracts, allowing for greater freedom and alignment with one's true soul's purpose. Understanding soul contracts empower us to take control from our spiritual journey, make choices that lead to a deeper healing, growth, and ultimately enlightenment. So I hope you have found this helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or have ideas for other lives. And remember that I upload this live as soon as the recording is available, usually within like 5 minutes of me being done with the live. And you can also find these recordings in my YouTube and TikTok accounts. All right. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you next week on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for another live.